One thing that always stood out to me about the Grinch is his really evil, menacing smile that he does, particularly in the really old animated movie. And going into this live-action Grinch movie, I did not at all expect to be able to pull it off. Even with an actor like Jim Carrey, I just didn't think they'd be able to pull it off. Oh my god, he's a fucking menace. That is a mean one right there. Holy shit. Oh, what the fuck? What? I don't want to review that. What the fuck there? No, the family-friendly one. Yeah, I don't want to review that one. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Sorry about that. Hey guys, welcome back to the Grandma's channel and welcome back to another movie review. And the movie I'm reviewing today stars Jim Carrey. I mean, that's always the sign of a fun movie. Jim Carrey, everyone loves Jim Carrey, yes. And this is not the first time we've seen Jim Carrey with a green face. So surely we're used to it at this point. He's such a fucking menace. This is a movie that unfortunately I never really grew up watching. I'm not very nostalgic with. No, not really. I'm more nostalgic with the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat movie because, yeah, that was my jam. I loved every bit of that movie as a kid. Every scene, every shot in that movie is pure nostalgic. So, yeah, good times. And this movie, how do I put this lightly, is, it's a bit ugly. And the movie is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So like I said, I never really grew up with this movie. I'm not at all like nostalgic with it. I was just hoping to have an average good time because it's Christmas time, it's the Grinch. I had never really grown up with the books or anything or any other interpretation of the character. I just kind of went into this movie because Jim Carrey was in it. And yeah, that was kind of the main reason. Which, yeah, no surprise. I honestly just went into this movie expecting Jim Carrey to be literally the only watchable thing about this movie and everything else being kind of trash. And for the most part, yes, I was basically right. Jim Carrey in this movie was really the only watchable thing about this movie. He clearly was having a good time as the character, despite how freaky he looked in that suit, which I think makes sense for the Grinch. Like, the Whoville, like the town of Whoville and the Who's or whatever you want to call them, are meant to be afraid of the Grinch. They're meant to be scared of him. And for them giving the Grinch a really freaky looking design, it makes sense because he's meant to be like that. He's meant to be really creepy and scary and everyone's meant to be scared of him. So it makes sense for the Grinch to look kind of freaky looking at times, especially when he like meets Cindy Lou Who for the first time. It's a little creepy. It's a little creepy. And yeah, but it makes sense. It makes sense. So Jim Carrey was definitely the most watchable thing. There are times where he's basically just being Jim Carrey, like doing the most wackiest, most random things ever, which, yeah, sometimes is funny and sometimes is not, and, sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it doesn't, but for the most part, I enjoyed him as the Grinch. He was pretty fun, and he does sing the You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch song, the iconic song that we all know of. He does sing it in the movie, and I thought it was actually not bad. I actually kind of enjoyed it. It was actually pretty good, despite all of the really wacky, goofy voices that he does. I thought it was a bit of a banger. I listened to it again.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
You're as cuddly as a cactus, and as charming as an eel.
Either way, guys, yes, I think Jim Carrey was the most watchable thing about this movie, and yeah, I wasn't too surprised. Other than Jim Carrey, another very important character who's in this movie is Cindy Lou Who, played by Taylor Momsen, if I could pronounce the last name correctly, and she was fine. She was just okay. Adorable? Yes. Acting-wise, she was just fine. I definitely do respect them not making her look really creepy and freaky looking like everyone else in Whoville. She actually looks adorable. That was a good choice. Just like Jim Carrey, she actually does start singing very randomly in the movie. She starts singing, and unfortunately, it wasn't great. I don't know. It was kind of whatever. It was fine. I mean, unlike Jim Carrey, I probably wouldn't listen to the song again. It's not really something you'd want to listen to again. So yeah, it was okay. It was fine. It was whatever. Was she at all dumb at times? Well, in one particular scene, yes, she was very dumb. I think everyone's talked about it already because of how stupid it is. But the scene where she kind of spots the Grinch, stealing her Christmas tree, and then she basically looks at him directly in the face. She apparently didn't recognize him as the Grinch and just assumed he was Santa Claus, and didn't at all recognize him as the Grinch, even though they were having like a full conversation, like early in the movie. That whole scene made no sense. I don't know if it was like that in the books or anything, but that made no sense, and I was so confused. I had to rewind it. I was like, wait, did she look at him in the face? Did she see him? I'm so confused. And she did, and I was like, how the fuck did you not recognize him as the Grinch? How do you still just think that's fucking Santa Claus? That was dumb. That scene was just utterly stupid. That was so dumb. and I just had to point that out. That was a really dumb scene, but her character was just fine. But yes, as I was constantly mentioning throughout this review so far, the looks, the faces of the Who's in this movie are really, really bad. Like everyone, literally everybody in this movie looks fucking really ugly and terrifying except for Cindy Lou Who and and the Grinch, but the Grinch makes sense. The Grinch is meant to be scary and he's meant to be freaky looking. Everyone's meant to fear the Grinch, so it makes sense why he would look like that. But everyone else looks really fucking looks just as creepy, if not creepier than the Grinch. Like there are several times where I just had to stare at some faces and be like, ew, God, you do not look good in that makeup or whatever it is. It just looks really bad. I know that they're trying to make it accurate to how Dr. Seuss's characters looked with his designs and like the books and everything. I understand they're trying to bring it to live action, but it just doesn't work. They did that in the Cat in the Hat with the Cat in the Hat himself, but also with Thing 1 and Thing 2, and it just doesn't work. They just look really creepy and stuff. So making everybody in Whoville look really creepy looking except for Cindy, which I really respect. And the Grinch is meant to look creepy because he's the Grinch. Everyone's meant to be scared of him. But having everybody look really creepy in Whoville, I do not respect that. That was a really dumb choice. And they just look too freaky looking. The town, Whoville, like the area, like just the atmosphere of it just looks and feels just really bland. I don't know, something about it just looks really bland, just the town of Whoville and stuff. I don't know, just something about it just looks really ugly. I don't know, that's just me. So yeah, a pretty ugly looking movie. One thing that sort of confused me about this movie, not really, but it kind of just made me think for a second, was like the Grinch's whole motive of why he hates Christmas. Like, I don't know if they really explored it in like the books or any of the other interpretations of the character, but I'm just talking about how they did it in this movie. It seems like it's a very obvious reason. He gets picked on at school and he gets bullied during Christmas time, therefore it makes him really dislike and hate the holiday and stuff and hate everybody in Whoville. You would think that's the main reason, but when we go back to the scenes or the flashbacks of him as a baby animatronic, which I only just found out about, that is a baby animatronic, not a real baby, so thank the fucking Lord. When we go back to those scenes, he just seems to already hate Christmas. Like, he just eats a plate with Santa on it, bites it, and then says Santa bye-bye as a baby? So was he just born like that? Was he just born unhappy and just hating Christmas? I don't think so. It's a little confusing how they do it, because later on when he seems to actually be in the spirit, he seems to like Christmas, but beforehand as a baby he just eats a plate with Santa on it and then says Santa bye-bye. So did he already hate Christmas beforehand? It's a little confusing how they do it. I don't know, maybe he was just born like that. But yeah, that was something that was making me think, like, why was he just born hating Christmas? It was kind of weird the way they were explaining it. How the fuck is the Grinch so damn strong? We see in the last moment of the movie is, the Grinch, his heart grows 3 sizes and he's happy and he wants to save Christmas, and he holds up the sleigh with dozens of presents inside of it, like it's fucking nothing, and he's just incredibly strong. But how? We see clearly throughout the movie that this guy has like the biggest fucking belly in the world, and he probably eats a bunch of really nasty shit, like he eats a fucking glass bottle. That's the type of shit he eats, and somehow he's just able to hold up that sleigh like it's nothing. Like, how the hell is he so damn strong? I don't know if there's an explanation about it. Maybe you can let me know. I don't know if there's an explanation for it, and like, I don't know, in the books or something of why he's so strong. I don't know. That was something that confused me. Like, how the hell is he holding that up? So like it's fucking nothing. I don't know. I just didn't understand it. So yeah, that was one more complaint. Overall, like I've already said, Jim Carrey was easily the most watchable thing in this live-action Grinch movie. I think he did a pretty good job, and he was clearly having a fun time with the role. Just everything else, like the look of like Whoville just looked really kind of bland and boring looking. Everyone, and like all of the Who's looked really ugly and just terrifying, and I just really didn't like it. And I mean, Cindy Lou Who, the little girl, was okay. She was good enough. Just everything about this movie was kind of mid, and Jim Carrey was like really the only good thing about this movie. So yeah, it's all right. It's not really something that I would really want to go back to every single Christmas, to be honest. But hey, I'll give it this. This movie is way more respectful to its source material compared to the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat movie, so I'll give it that. But either way, this is going to be the end of my review of the live action How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I hope you enjoyed. And you know what? Despite everything, despite the really ugly looking Whoville and the freaky looking Who's and the scenes of a dog's ass getting kissed, I would rather just prefer to watching this movie than watching the Illumination version. I mean, that movie just looks really bland and really lame, and I would rather watch Jim Carrey's madness than that bland movie.